Hey guys, Aaron here, hope you're doing well. Now by now I'm sure you've already seen the trailer for Super Mario Maker 2. I can't believe it's coming out in June, it's not that far off. So what I thought I'd do is make a bit of an analysis video. So I've gone into some of the new elements that are in this, given a few of my views as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It's quite a long video, you might want to grab yourself a drink or something. Enjoy! Okay, so I'm already going to pause the video here. So there was something I noticed upon re-watching this trailer that I didn't notice the first time round. So yeah, there's no crack in the ground. So if you don't know what I'm talking about here, go and watch any other Mario Maker video. But at the beginning of the stage, there's always been like a crack in the ground where you continue designing the level. And thankfully, Nintendo's got rid of this because it never actually looked that great. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to point that out. So we're going to move on, and the rest of this section looks relatively normal. So let's get into the new edit screen here. So I won't go massively into detail here. A lot of these icons look quite similar to the original game, but there were a few I did want to point out here. So on the top left of the screen, that's a new icon. Well, you still get the frog head in there. Now, if you played the original Mario Maker, you know that does the crazy sound effects, stuff like that. Personally, for myself, I never really use them that much, but they are quite good to use. However, there is a new character next to the frog, and that's that guy with the brick and eyes. Now, I'm not really 100% sure what that's going to do. However, I would take a guess and say maybe that's stickers. Maybe you can actually edit your own sprites. Maybe that's a bit of wishful thinking there, I don't know. Or it could be something where you can put stickers into the course. If you ever played Mario Maker on the Wii U, for example, you could leave comments in the levels. Now, without that feature for the Switch, I don't think you're going to be able to do that. I played some really good Mario Maker levels where they were story driven with comments, so maybe, you know, that's something along those lines there. So just below that we've got the theme. This one's Super Mario World, and down below that you've got your theme selection, or your course theme anyway. Next to that, not 100% sure what that is. It kind of looks like a boat. Now, I believe in the trailer that's never really explained at all, but personally for me it would be quite good to mix and match themes up, the subworlds, stuff like that. So that's something I'm sure Nintendo's going to reveal in the near future. Next up we've got the camera icons. So if it's anything like the original Mario Maker, you're going to be able to go into there, change it to auto scroll for example, change the speed of how quickly you want the camera to move. Next to that you've kind of got a greyed out icon, which I believe is a feather. I will go into this a bit further on into the video, but what sets this apart from the original game is the fact that you can actually decide where you want the character to go to. So you can lay down, say, a camera track and then have auto scroll follow that. Next up is the timer. Nothing too exciting here. I'm sure it's going to work exactly like it did in the original Mario Maker, so you can change that time limit if you want to make the level a bit more challenging. But what is the more interesting option here is just down below there with a little flag on. So at first I thought this was something to do with checkpoints, but it turns out it's something to do with targets, objectives during your level. So you could set it so you need to collect, say, 100 coins to reach your objective. Whether that unlocks something or it's just like a record for your level, that's something we're going to have to find out in the future. But I love that idea. Rather than just having pink coins, you're going to be able to set coin objectives and possibly other objectives, maybe defeat a certain amount of enemies. Now there's a couple of icons down the bottom here. One of them, if you've played any other Mario Maker, you should know what that does. But the Mario icon allows you to see Mario's path throughout a level, so you can set better jumps up for example. But to the left of that there's a new icon, a little red and green character on there. Now there's been quite a lot of speculation on the internet. What does this mean? Is it a multiplayer mode? Does the red and green characters signify Mario and Luigi? I'm more inclined to think it's a collaborative tool. I know the 3DS Mario Maker did support collaboration whilst designing levels, so it wouldn't put it past me. Nintendo's put this into the Switch version as well. So yeah, creating a level, 2 players, you could get it made quicker, for example. Whether you could do this over the internet as well, I hope you can. But if that is the case, it's quite a nice little tool to have here. And I also can't forget the top right hand side of the screen, there is a magnifying glass, so you can actually zoom in and out of the gameplay area, so you get a better idea of what your level is going to look like. One thing I wanted to discuss before we moved on was how you're going to be able to create or edit your levels. So the touchscreen of a Switch is quite different to what the Wii U gamepad had, so you're still going to need a stylus to be able to design them. But what happens on a TV? What happens if you've got your Switch docked? Now, I'm kind of hoping, part of me is hoping, a mouse is going to be able to plug into the USB port of a dock and you can design your levels that way. Otherwise, there's going to have to be some way of using the Joy-Cons as an air mouse, for example, which is quite possible, I guess. But that's something I'm, again, sure Nintendo's going to reveal in due course. Anyway, let's move on and continue looking at the trailer. We've got the enemy screen, and I love the fact Nintendo have done this with these radial dials here, instead of the really confusing way they did it in Mario Maker. In Mario Maker, you had a big screen, different icons, and basically each icon could house maybe 2 or 3 different objects, and I know for myself it did get a bit confusing trying to find different items, and I certainly know of some other people that never actually discovered certain things until they were told. So I love this new design here, and already you can see you've got some enemies. Nothing really new there. Over on the right hand side as well, they're just the same enemies from Mario World, which we saw in the original Mario Maker. However, you can click the little buttons in between to go left and right, so I would hope there's going to be certain other enemies and items like on the left hand side. So already, while this screen doesn't look anything too amazing, you can see a coin with 10 on it. So yeah, that's going to be quite handy to add extra coins to levels there. And here we have, yeah, we've just moved over to the coin section. We've got the blocks on the left hand side. So yeah, nothing too unusual there either. Terrain we've got here, so we've got slopes. How could I forget slopes? So it looks like you do have different options for the slopes here. They can be more vertical than others. On the left hand side, there's definitely a few different icons there that really stand out. So you've got your on-off switches, which is really going to make a big difference to level design, I feel. Next to it, you've got the red blocks, which I believe is used in conjunction with that on-off button. You've also got the green block, which I believe is the snake. Now, the snake blocks were something I thought were really missing from the original Mario Maker, so I'm really glad they've been put in this one. And yeah, I'm going to love sort of playing some of the levels that people design with that icon, or block I should say. So let's press that play again. And this is where we get to design our slopes, and it's actually a really quite easy system. A lot of people were, I know with the original Mario Maker, when they wanted slopes to be patched in, there was a bit of talk whether it could be done well with just selecting each individual block to build up a slope. Whereas looking at this, it's a piece of cake. All you need to do is just literally drag it straight down like the video shows here, and you've got a slope. And not only that, the engine actually manages to figure out where your enemy blocks, if you actually put enemies or items on top of the slope, well, before it become a slope, it seems to sort that out. And yeah, doesn't mess anything around either. So I'm just loving the fact slopes are in this. That was something that was thoroughly missing from the original game. So let's move over. And then we've got our Mario Maker 2 title screen. So again, let's give that a pause. So we've got some, I don't know if that's an enemy, it's probably just some kind of block, but that was something that I was kind of missing from the original Mario Maker, weather effects. And it does kind of look like it's using something like that with the whole wind here. I still would prefer certain elements to be able to create like whole sections that are windy, that turn on and off. But if that's not going to be the case, at least we've got some kind of option here to do a similar thing. We've got a desert theme from Mario Bros. 3 here, and we've got the sun. Now, if you've played Super Mario Bros. 3, I'm sure you have, the sun is a pretty deadly item. It just chases you around, and that was something that I kind of hoped would appear in Mario Maker as a DLC, which never did. And moving on, we've got New Super Mario Bros. U. So we can build the snake pattern here, as you can see, just by putting the direction or dropping down the direction of where you want the snake to travel. So as you can see, pretty easy enough to get that done. Back to the Mario World theme here as well. We seem to be able to create levels with rising water, and not just a complete water stage like really you could only choose in the original Mario Maker. And yeah, really looking forward to creating some levels here with water. We take a look at the on-off switch, so I can definitely see this being most used in speedrun levels, having to hit these blocks to open up sections as you're speeding through. So yeah, I feel like that is another good option we've got here to create levels with. Now, what I spoke about earlier with that feather effect, so as you're creating your auto scroll level, you can actually get it so that it will follow a path. And actually, I'm really surprised Nintendo's done that. They could have cheaped out and gone with what they did with Mario Maker here, but they've given you full control over where you can move the camera through a stage. And definitely with the vertical levels as well, like we saw previously, this will definitely help. So you could be moving all around vertically, horizontally. I'm looking forward to using this feature, as I'm sure a lot of other people are. And yeah, another big announcement of the trailer was the fact that Nintendo have included a Mario 3D World theme in this, which is amazing, to be fair. I did wonder if they would do this, considering the game was 3D. And yeah, creating 3D games is very different to the rest of these 2D styles. But Nintendo have made that choice to convert everything into 2D, while it still has that 3D look to it. So here, anyway, we've got some of the new items. Well, the 3D World equivalent. So you've got your donut block down the bottom there as well. Over on the left-hand side, you've got some of the other items like your slopes. Now the pipe as well, you've got another option for see-through pipes, like you come across in 3D World. One thing I will say though, especially with the slopes, I haven't actually come across any part of this trailer where you use slopes like you would a semi-solid platform. So whether or not you can go under a slope, that's something we're going to find out in the near future, I hope. On the right hand side of the screen, let's press that play button. We've got the new Super Bell item in here as well, so you can turn into Cat Mario, climb up some of the walls, which is going to be great considering this has vertical levels in it. I don't think it would have worked if it had kept the same height of levels like in the original Mario Maker, but definitely, yeah, we're going to be able to use that to traverse levels a lot better. And we've got some enemies over here as well. Actually, quite a lot of enemies. So you've got your basic enemies, your Goomba, Koopa Troopa, Wrigglers. And over on the right as well, you've got some extra ones. So again, these are just characters from which appear in 3D World. So quite a large selection there. So let's move on. So I must say, I love the background here. It's really got a good effect, and kind of looking forward to seeing what themes are here. So yeah, that was one of the examples of using the Super Bell. So you're going to be able to climb up top there, grab your Super Bell, and climb vertical platforms, which is great. You can also change the path of the piranhas like they appeared in 3D World. And the see-through pipes as well. This is one thing that I think is really going to add an extra touch, especially for puzzle levels. Being able to like fire your fireballs through them, take out enemies, which I believe does actually happen in this trailer. Yeah, I think that's a really good move actually. And we've got one of the course themes here as well, which was one of the Bowser sections too. And we've got the bullet bills that seem to have this like 3D effect coming in from the background here as well. Liking that. Before we move on, something I do want to mention. There is an item here. You've got your grates. That's something I really do hope appears in some of the other themes, especially Super Mario World, as that was the first game to feature an element like that. So let's move on. There's a few things I want to talk about here. So already you can see there's a different type of platform that sits on top of a track and tilts left and right. There's also the 10 coin. Now this is a Mario Brothers 3 theme here, so it kind of looks a bit different there. And the main thing that I want to point out is top left of the screen. Like I said earlier in the video, there seems to be different targets you can set within a level. So for this one example, you need 120 coins. What that does, I don't know. Whether it gives you a key, whether you actually need 120 to complete the level, or just a certain challenge. Then I'm sure that'll be explained further down the line before the release, but it just gives more objectives than the previous game did over just the pink coins really. And we've got a vertical stage here, which is all good. Looking forward to creating some courses in this style, but another item here is the actual parachutes. So you could actually attach it to most enemies, I'm guessing. Very much like you could with the wings in the original Mario Maker. And I definitely feel like this is going to make some quite good jumps across when you've got enemies dropping in like that. So, again, Red Yoshi. Red Yoshi is new to the game, which does kind of make me think, is it going to take on the way that you could eat certain Koopas and then you'll get fireballs from them? There was also a blue Yoshi in Mario World where he could fly around. So I think that's something that might happen here. It's not really gone into detail. This was another course theme, kind of like a jungle background from Mario 3D World. And also you get some extra enemies here. Now, something that I would love to see is new bosses, because Baby Bowser and Bowser, you know, they get old fast. So I would love to have a huge amount of bosses. Which ones though? Well, I mean, you've got plenty of games to choose bosses from. Maybe the Koopalings will come in as bosses, but there's plenty to choose from. And there we go. So again, that's coming out in June. However, there is still a few things that I want to discuss. Now, after the trailer had finished airing, Nintendo have updated their website here with this image, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on here, so I want to discuss that. So already, something that really stands out, bottom right hand corner, you've got Koopa Troopa in a car. Not really quite sure what that's all about, but hey, it's a nice addition. We've got the Piranha Plant above it, the black one, which I'm sure did appear earlier on in the trailer there. You've also got Toad and Toadette in a cat suit over there. So does this mean it's going to be multiplayer? I think there's going to be quite a lot of difficulty creating a multiplayer level. Most levels that people make are very much suited to just one person playing through it. So unless you specifically create a level that only works in multiplayer, like a certain character having to jump on a button while another one gets through a door, for example. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but the whole collaborative thing I spoke about as well, you have Mario and Luigi there kind of building the level together. So that kind of also what throws me that you will be able to create levels a couple of people at a time. So what else we got? We have Luigi in a cat suit, so that also kind of shows that, yeah, maybe Luigi is going to be a playable character in this. Does make me wonder, are they going to keep Luigi's attributes from previous games where he can jump higher but perhaps run a bit slower than Mario? And again, how does this affect levels that you create? Because obviously if you create a level with Mario in mind, maybe using Luigi it would be a lot easier, or if you create it for Luigi in mind, you're not going to make that jump that Mario can. So again, I'm quite intrigued to know how this is going to work, and if you have to make it so only a certain character can actually play that level. Well, if you made it this far, well done. Yeah, I hope that went in depth enough. There was quite a lot to go through from just a 1.5 minute trailer. But yeah, even stuff I kind of didn't notice the first time round did show up when I multiple watched the trailer. So I still do hope there's going to be a few extra themes. I'm still kind of hoping out for the Super Mario Land 2 theme and Mario Brother 2 theme too. They would kind of make my day, as I'm sure they would for a lot of people. I'm sure we're going to find more info out over the next few months, because yeah, the release date really isn't that far away now, so I'm sure we're going to get info out next Direct at some point soon. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Definitely want to hear some of your comments. Are you looking forward to the game? Was that a stupid question? See you again. Thanks for watching.